Hey guys, welcome into Fantasy Football Academy 2020. A very good early Tuesday morning to you. It is waiver wire time. Look, if you had a bad week, sorry, you were probably relying on the Bucks to give you some relief on Sunday night. And anyone who saw this game, look, if you listened to the Dean, you knew that you were going to sit Mike Evans. It is what it is, but I'm telling you right now, if you were looking at that game, you were watching like I was, they made a comment about the rule being that you don't blitz Brady. Are you kidding me? The man's 43 years old. He didn't move well when he was 20-something. He is the second worst quarterback from last year under pressure. Nothing's changed. Only his team and his address. That's it. He's still the same Tom Brady. He still gets flustered. He still needs time in the pocket. They've been giving it to him for the past couple of weeks. Past couple of weeks, he's been really good. He's been top 12. He's been a QB1. This week, Kyle Allen outscored him, and Kyle Allen didn't even finish the game in Washington. 2.36 points. You kidding me? Look, if you were relying on Tom Brady, if you think that this is the beginning of the end, I'd be right. Because the entire league saw this. The entire league saw what happened. They saw that they were bringing the blitz, that they were coming after him. Okay? It's the same thing like what happened with the Steelers. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was nervous watching that Steelers game. Being a Washington fan, I work with two Cowboys fans, and I've been giving them stuff all week about getting their butts kicked by Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, you let me down. Okay? I'm putting it out there. You let me down, Pittsburgh. Yeah, you won the game, but should have won a lot better than that. I get it. Big Ben got a bum knee just before half. Mason Rudolph had to come in to finish a drive. Come on. It was Dallas, guys. Okay? Bill Cowher said it best at halftime. Look, calm down. We didn't have any film on this guy. Bill, you lied. They had film from when he was playing. I believe it was AAFL or AFL, whatever that falling apart football league was earlier. They had film on this guy. He's been in the league since 2014, talking about, Garrett Gilbert, okay? This kid can play. He was drafted 4th round by the then St. Louis Rams. So are you rushing out to go get Gilbert because he's got all these weapons that Dak had? No, hold on. Timeout. This guy's been on the practice squad for a reason, okay? Yeah, he looked good against a really good defense. But was it really his ability or the fact that they didn't take him seriously? I mean, did anybody take the Cowboys seriously this week, including themselves? I mean, come on. So give it a week before he winds up on any waiver wire list. He's not on mine. So you got to be really hurting at quarterback in order to go pick up this quarterback from Dallas, okay? I'm not going to lie. I liked what I saw from a football perspective, not from a fan perspective, but time will tell, okay, guys? So, as I said, welcome into Fantasy Football Academy. It's very early in the morning. I've been up since about 3:45. It is currently about 5:45 Central Time. So getting this out early, and I want to make sure that I put this out there. I've said this before, but I'll say it again for those who are new. And if you are new, welcome to the show. Down at the bottom, subscribe, like, and share for me. And remember, you can find me on Twitter at FantasyDean20. Hit me up if you have any questions about your fantasy lineup, about a trade that you're thinking about, or about any acquisitions off the waiver wire, okay? I'm more than willing to help. I'm more than able to help, and I try to take as much time as I can for my followers and my buddies. So you guys, as anybody that I work with, because all the guys who are in the league, um, the one I'm married to, so the returning champ is the missus. Everyone else I work with that's in my league of record that I do reviews on. So when you hear me talk about Nick and Charles and Chris and all those guys, these are all guys I know that come to me for advice. And yes, I give them advice. Only exceptions I do are if they're playing my wife or if they're playing me, because I don't want to be accused of giving biased information just so I can get a win. But like I said, I will put this out there is that I do these shows so early in the morning for two reasons. One, I'm up. The wife works early, so I'm up with her. Um, but number two, I want to make sure that I get this content out before any of the big boys, before any of the fantasy footballers, fantasy pros, these guys that I watch on a regular basis, and I try to better myself with information, just as I encourage you to better yourself with information. Don't let this be your only show. I want it to be your show. I want it to be your go-to, but I want you guys to make sure that you're subscribed to multiple outlets for information. I have a take on a player, the ballers have a take on a player, the fantasy pros have a take on a player, and they can all be different. Okay. Some of them you can really like, some of them you really hate, but it's up to you guys. It's your team, it's your league. You guys know who you're playing with. I don't. I can only make guesstimations the same as any of these other guys. But I want you to know that all the content that you see on this show is 100% original. I try to put out a waiver wire show early. I try to put out my my start set early. Um, I do put out injury information when it's available to us, and I make sure that I'm going to let you know, guys know where I get this information from. A lot of it's ESPN, a lot of it's the Ballers, Fantasy Pros. Those are the two main ones that I follow. There's one of the guys on Twitter at the Commish. Follow him. He gives out good content on his Twitter page as well. So with that said, let's get into waiver wire. I know you guys saw the absolute explosion of offense that happened this week. It was awesome for fantasy football. Did you get a piece of it? I hope you did. If you didn't, I'm here to help. So we're going to try to get you a piece of week 10. And remember, guys, we've got 1 month before the playoffs. Okay. You guys got week 10, 11, 12, and 13. So you've got 4 weeks. Okay. Week 14, that's when you start your playoffs. Okay. So you've got 3 weeks to make a push before you get into it. So even if you're sitting at the 8th spot, at the 10th spot, depending upon the rest of their league, if you're anything like mine, we're all jumbled up. Okay. The only thing separating us are points. And that's why your starts and sets are so important. Even if you lose, you need to have as many points as you can possibly get. The number one guy in our league does not have the most points. Okay. So, well, this week he might, because we have a different falling of the teams after this week because of the win-loss record. So, but going into week 9, the number one team in the league, the guy who was 7-1, did not have the most points. It just so happened that he scored the most points, more points than his opponent that week. And that's sometimes how fantasy football works out. That's why I always tell you guys, environmental roster management, ERM. Okay. If you have ERM and you're aware of the environment around a player, then you can make the best decision for your squad. Okay. It's not about who's got the best players. It's about who has the best performance. Okay. And you can have a better performance with a better environment around sometimes a mediocre player. So with that said, let's get into the pickups. We're going to start with quarterbacks. We're going to go wide receivers or running backs, then wide receivers, then tight ends. Defenses, it's a toss up. Trust your gut on it. Kickers, same thing. I don't get into that. If you have a question about it, leave me down at the bottom, and I'll give you my my best estimate as to what is going to happen with that defense. Like I said, defenses, kickers, they're pretty much interchangeable. It depends on the matchup. Okay, guys. So that said, let's get into it. Quarterback number one, I'm putting Drew Lock as a pickup. He's probably available in your league. He's going up against the Raiders, and the Raiders' defense is absolutely horrible. Their offense showed signs of life last week. So when you have a good offense, a bad defense, and you're going up against it as an offense, that's a perfect recipe for a great fantasy performance because you're going to have to score the points in order to stay in the game. Drew Lock and the Broncos are going to have to score points to stay in this game. They're going to have to throw the ball. Okay. Even if it means throwing it to Philip Lindsay if he's healthy. And this is the thing, you need to pay attention to the injury report. Okay. So the injury report is going to be coming out. I try to put that with Wednesday show just before the Thursday night game. If there are any lingering injuries, I'll let you know about that. And make sure that you check those out on Saturday for the Sunday games. Okay, guys? Also, remember, if you have a Thursday night game, make sure that that player is in either the wide receiver or the running back position if you have that player not in your flex. If you put them in your flex, you eliminate the ability to change out someone in case something happens later in the week. Okay. So that said, let's get into number two. Number two, my boy, Alex Smith is back. I've never been happy and sadder at the same time. Okay. We lost Kyle Allen. We lost to the Giants, but in losing to the Giants, we got Alex Smith. Alex Smith came in about, I think, second quarter, if I'm not mistaken, threw for over 300 yards, a touchdown. Yes, he threw 3 picks that cost the game, but he looked good. He's going up against a Detroit defense that's horrible. This team can get run on. They can get thrown on. It's all good. So if you are missing a quarterback this week, remember, your buys this week are Kansas City, Atlanta, Dallas, and the Jets. Now, you're not missing any quarterback from Dallas. You're not missing Sam Darnold because God forbid that's who your starting quarterback is. But if you're losing Matt Ryan, if you're losing Patrick Mahomes, unfortunately, my wife's team has both of them, so she needs a quarterback this week. So Alex Smith going against Detroit with a full week of practice as the number one guy, not the third string, not the backup, not the feel-good story of the year, but Alex Smith, who is the veteran, who's been there, done that, has the poise to lead this team to a big win over Detroit and keep Washington in the race for the title. Okay. Now, I know nobody wants the title in the NFC East, but somebody's got to win it. Might as well be us. Okay. My sits, guys, if you've got Cam Newton, okay, I'm sorry, not my sets, my drops or trades, because if you pick up somebody, you need to drop somebody. So when I'm going through this, I'm going to give you some trades and some drops. Okay. Cam Newton. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. If you're relying on Cam, you're rolling the dice every single week. You don't know what you're going to get, and it's not good. Number one, it's not good for your emotional health because you're going to be chewing your fingernails down to the bone. But Cam Newton, you sell his potential. Okay, if you need to drop somebody to pick up either Drew Lock or Alex Smith, you might be hurting somewhere else. You might be hurting a running back. You might be hurting a wide receiver. Maybe you need a decent tight end who's reliable. Go out, find the guy in your league who's hurting a quarterback. Okay. Maybe they're not happy with the performance. Go to them, hey, how about Cam for so and so? Okay. I don't know, pick a player. Take your shot. Okay. You got a limited amount of time before that trade window closes. Okay. My next one, and I actually made this trade a long time ago. This was probably about, I think, week 4 or 5. I'd had enough. I'd seen enough. I was done. Lamar Jackson. That's right. I traded my second overall pick for Robert Woods and Michael Thomas. I threw in Raheem Mostert, who has been riding the injured reserve list. He's been on the bench, hurt, dinged up. I wasn't able to use him. I got all I could out of him, and I ditched him. Did I see it coming? No. Was I happy when it happened? Not really, because, I mean, you're never happy for somebody to get hurt, but they weren't hurt on my roster, and that's what I was happy about. So, Lamar Jackson, you can trade him on name value, same way as Cam Newton. Both of them you can trade on potential. Now, you may be saying, hey, Dean, what if these guys blow up? What if they don't? They're just sucking up a roster spot for you, and you're having to go stream a quarterback every week. I'd rather you could probably get 2 decent, steady players, either a wide receiver and a running back, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, however you work that trade, going, hey, you can have Cam, you can have Lamar, just give me these 2 guys. Maybe it's 2 guys that are taking spots on his bench. You can only start so many wide receivers. You can only start so many running backs. So there's extra laying around on somebody's roster. Go find probably your bottom 3 guys in your league. Your bottom 3 teams are looking for a win. They're looking for that spark. They probably don't have a decent quarterback. So go offer them somebody. You'd be surprised what you could get away with. Okay. Running backs. If you've seen the snap counts, if you've seen the workload distribution in Washington, you know that J.D. McKissick has been either equaling or outsnapping Antonio Gibson. They're going up against a Lions defense that's absolutely horrible in the run. So if you need a running back this week, let's say you're missing Todd Gurley. You're missing Zeke, which not a whole lot of people are missing Zeke because of his performance, but maybe he's been filling that spot for you and you need somebody to fill it while he's off. J.D. McKissick against the Lions, or maybe Wayne Gallman. Go out and get Wayne Gallman against Philly. You guys know what I'm drinking today. Orange Dreamsicle. This stuff's awesome. I love it. The wife says it's too sweet. You guys know I got no problem with sweet. So we're going to take a look real quick here at some running back figures. And we see Wayne Gallman is at the top of the list for free agency pickup, right in front of J.D. McKissick. Now, this is over the past 4 weeks. Why do I do the past 4 weeks? Because you could have guys like Nyheim Hines who had really big weeks, like 5-6 weeks ago, that are influencing their numbers and inflating them, okay? So let's take a look at Gallman. We're going to look at his numbers. And you see right here, his scores keep going up. Okay, he's hovering ever since he got in against Philly, and he scored 16 points against Philly. That's not too bad. I mean, 34 yards rushing. He got in on a touchdown. But he scored a touchdown in all 3 of the past games. Okay, he's got 68 in the touchdown last game, 9 yards receiving. He's got 44 in a touchdown against Tampa, 18 yards receiving, 34 against Philly and a touchdown. Okay, so he's going back up against Philly. There's no reason to doubt that he's going to get his share. Okay, guys? Take a look at J.D. McKissick. Had the bye week, came back against the Giants, 17 points. Okay, guys? That's without a score. Okay? Yes, he's only found the end zone once, and that was on a receiving touchdown against Baltimore. But he's getting the usage. Okay? Here, 14.4 points against the Giants. He's coming back against Detroit. Had 17 against the Giants again. Look at the rest of his schedule. Okay. With the exception of Pittsburgh in week 13, maybe Cincinnati in week 11, having Detroit, Dallas, San Fran, and a porous Seattle team. I'm telling you right now, this guy could fill a roster spot very well. There's probably somebody out there who has Antonio Gibson, who's not happy with him, but for whatever reason, they can't get off of Antonio Gibson. And real quick, I want to talk to you guys real quick about when you do trades. If you're going to pull the trigger, pull the trigger. Okay. I pulled the trigger on a trade. I went out and I was able to acquire Joe Mixon. Okay. And I know you might be thinking, well, yeah, but Dean, we've seen the reviews. We've seen you go over your squad. Joe Mixon's not on your squad. That's right. But Darrell Henderson is. I went out and got Henderson, put him on my squad. The same week, I didn't even get to use Joe Mixon. That's how quick I did this trade. Okay. I wasn't a big believer in Joe Mixon. And just so you know why I did what I did, let's take a look at Mr. Joe Mixon's stat line here. And we see Joe Mixon on the COVID-19ers. That's who I traded away to. And COVID-19ers are currently setting, I believe, next to last. So if we look here, this is where I was able to get Joe Mixon away and trade him before the 43-point blow up. Now, here's what I want to point out. Did I miss the 43-point blowout, or did I dodge the bullet? Because how many of you out there, if you've got a running back with the caliber of Joe Mixon, with the potential of Joe Mixon, and he gets 43 points, how many of you are going to get off of that player and be willing to trade him away? Here's what he's gotten so far from week 5 to week 9, or actually, let's just go week 8 because he had a bye last week. He's gotten 30 points. So you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4. I wasn't even able to use him here because he was injured. Okay. There's no way I would have gotten off a 43-point performance. I would have been holding on to him for dear life. So I was thankful that I was able to get off of Joe Mixon and get someone who I actually believed in Because you guys know, if you watched my show, you watched this channel from inception, and you watched me during draft season, you guys know that I was not big on Joe Mixon. And it wasn't because of Joe Mixon. It was simply because of Joe Burrow. Okay. Now, this was the player that I got for him. Now, remember, I was able to get him in week 4. Now, he didn't have a good week there, but he did have 21, 9, 9, 6. He's got to buy this. He had a bye last week, and then he comes back against these teams. And if you look down this roster, or down this lineup, Seattle, Tampa Bay, San Fran, Arizona, New England, the Jets, and Seattle again. This right here, that's weeks 15 and 16. You know what that is? That's the Super Bowl and the semifinals. So I'm perfectly okay with having Darrell Henderson on my bench to plug in when I need him. Okay. I would rather have that than chasing a 43-point performance by Joe Mixon. Okay. Especially when he's been out for the past 2 weeks and just eating up a roster spot. So who are you dropping and who are you trading? Now look, Joshua Kelly is a name that's been out there ever since Austin Eckler got hurt. If you're holding on to Josh Kelly and you're waiting for that big blow-up game, might be waiting a while. Okay. He's not being used like Eckler was. Justin Herbert is chucking the ball all over the field, but not to his running backs like they were being used. So if you're gonna sell him, you need to sell him now before Austin Eckler comes back. Okay, because once Austin Eckler's back, Kelly's gone. Any of the other running backs are gone. Justin Jackson, all those guys. Okay. Sorry, guys. Gotta take a time out real quick for the misses. Alrighty. Family first here at Fantasy Football Academy 2020. If you want to be part of the family, down at the bottom, subscribe, like, and share, and we make time for you too, guys. Okay. So the other guy you need to trade on is Zeke. Right now, if you go out and you can sell the performance that Gilbert put up as an improvement and maybe a glimmer of hope for Zeke to get better, then you should be able to get really good value for him right now. Don't wait for Gilbert to go out there and bomb against whoever they're going to face in week 11. Because they have a bye this week, you need to work your league mates. You need to work them well. Okay? Go out, take a look and see who's hurting at running back. Take a look at your needs and go after whoever you want. The worst thing that can happen is they say no. That's why you see ugly dudes with beautiful women. Is that they're the guys that went up and talked to him. They're the guys that went up and paid attention because all these other guys were intimidated. Don't be intimidated. Go with confidence to your league mates and go, hey, I got Zeke. I got a couple other guys that I'm happier with. I need some help on wide receiver. I want a little depth at running back. I want a better quarterback. See what you can get. Swing for the fences. Go for it. The worst they can say is no, and then you move on, or you make a counter offer. Go back and forth. Don't just turn down that offer just because you don't like it. Okay, if somebody comes at you with an offer, make a counter offer if it doesn't fit you. Do what's best for you. Okay, you need to do what's best for your team and your future. Okay, guys. So going into wide receivers, look, if this guy is still available in your league, you need to go get him. Christian Kirk, the number 2 wide receiver for Arizona. Look, Kyler is going to throw the ball. Kyler Murray is going to throw the ball a lot. Okay? That's just how this offense works. He runs, he throws. End of story. Chase Edmonds, every now and then. Kenyon Drake when he's healthy. But it all channels through Kyler Murray. Now, he can't throw the ball every single time to DeAndre Hopkins. He might try, but it's not going to be every single time. They go at least 7-8 times a game to Christian Kirk. Okay? They're throwing the ball like 50 times. It's crazy the pace that Arizona throws this ball. And with their defense not being able to hold, then they need to throw even more. Okay? So if they're throwing 30, 40, 50 times a game, ball needs to go somewhere. It's not going to go 50 times to D-Hop. Okay, he might get 12 or 15, but Christian Kirk's going to get his, and he's going to be able to do a lot with it. Okay, now, this week they face the Bills. The Bills are a good run defense. Secondary, maybe a little bit, but go out, pick you up Christian Kirk, be happy with what you're going to get. Okay, next guy, Nelson Aguilar. Now, here's the thing about Nelson. Nelson Aguilar, he's going up against Denver. It might be kind of hard to depend on one Raider receiver. Henry Ruggs might go off. Aguilar might go off. But Aguilar has been doing very well. We're going to take a look real quick. Let's go to players. I'll pull them up before. Alrighty. So let's share this real quick, guys, and let you see what I'm seeing. So we see he did put up one goose egg against Cleveland, but he was dinged up that game. Game before that, 107 and a touchdown against Tampa Bay. 55 and a touchdown. This guy has scored a touchdown in all but 2 of the games that he's been playing in, okay? He gets Denver. There's going to be a shootout in KC. He gets Atlanta, that's horrible. Then back-to-back games against bad defenses, Atlanta and then the Jets. Now, he gets the game against Indy that might be a little but you should be able to survive that with any depth at wide receiver. Then he gets the Chargers and Miami. Okay. So to make that playoff push, Aguilar is going to be somebody, I believe, that can help you out. Okay. Next guy, Preston Williams. Okay. Preston Williams. Let's find him real quick. With Tua coming in, and I don't know if you guys saw this game or not. His first game out, not really that impressed. 90, I believe it was like 93 yards passing. But his last game, his second game that he played, absolutely phenomenal against Arizona. Sorry, I keep forgetting that I didn't share this. Here we go. So we look down here, 60 yards and a touchdown, got 16 points. Up here against San Fran, 106 and 1. That was with Fitzpatrick. But we look at his rest of schedule. He gets the Chargers. He gets Denver. He gets the Jets. Okay, Cincinnati might be a little bit tougher. KC is going to be tougher, but it's still going to be a shootout. New England is just falling apart, and then Vegas gets the Raiders. So Preston Williams, if you're looking for wide receiver depth, this guy right here could be somebody that could save your season. Okay. Next up, to drop or trade. Look, I know that this one right here is going to be controversial. That you're going to be looking at this and going, "What are you, Dean? You lost your mind. There's no way I'm getting rid of a guy that's on that good of an offense." But I'm telling you right now, McCole Hardman is going to give you a heart attack. Okay. All Hardman does is harden your arteries and make them seize up and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I started this guy." He's way too erratic, but he's definitely good trade bait. So if you want to go out there and trade McCole Hardman for a more reliable receiver, maybe Cole Beasley. You guys know I love Beasley. I got him on my listener league. So he has a very safe floor. He had a bad week last week. But Beasley right now, I would take him over McCole Hardman. Okay. Yes, the ceiling is higher for Hardman, but if you're looking for good stability in your roster, if you're that home run shot guy, then go ahead, ride McCole Hardman and see how that works out for you. Next guy, Tim Patrick. Look, he's been dinged up. Plus, I want to real quick. This is something that you guys have got to start looking at closer. Beginning of the year, it really doesn't matter too much. But at this point in time in the season, you really have to look at the rest of the schedule. Okay. So that we go Tim Patrick. Now, the Slutty must have him via a trade with me. And I don't recall the details of that trade, but if I'm not mistaken, it was after the Jets performance. So after the Jets performance, he had 15 and then he dropped to 7. Then he was out and he had a good 13-point performance. But look at the rest of his schedule. Okay. Outside of this Vegas, Miami's defense has been getting stronger. New Orleans just shut the hell out of Tampa. KC absolutely shut down cornerbacks. Carolina is no slouch. Buffalo is going to be tough. And then the Chargers, I don't like the rest of this matchup, especially going into the fantasy playoffs. So if you want to, this guy is definitely going to be a risk rest of season. Make sure that you're paying attention when you're dropping guys, because right now you might be having some really hard matchups, but later on down the road weeks when you're going to need them in the very near future, weeks 12 through let's say 15, that is going to get you into the Super Bowl. get you into the championship week, then you need to pay attention to these players. Okay, guys. Marquise Hollywood Brown. Now, this has a lot to do with Lamar's play, the fact that they're not passing the ball. They are the most run-heavy offense in the league. They've got J.K. Dobbins. They've got the Gus Bus with Gus Edwards. They've got Mark Ingram that's going to be coming back. They've got the most used running quarterback in the league. Okay. That's what they are built around. That's their identity. The identity of the Baltimore Ravens is Lamar Jackson running the ball, not throwing the ball. He's not Kyler Murray. He's not Patrick Mahomes. Okay. These guys run and pass. You can rely on their arm. Lamar Jackson, you cannot rely on his arm. Okay. They're trying to mold him into a pocket passer, and that's not him. He's a running quarterback. That's how he plays. That's his style. So having Hollywood Brown, on top of that, having Dez Bryant being pulled up from the practice squad, that's just going to be a distraction. He's not going to be worth going out and getting. You might see him on my roster. I think it was just fun to have Dez on my roster for being able to justify it for once. Because when he was with Dallas, there was no way I was taking Dez Bryant. I don't care how good he was, how good he is. I wasn't taking him as long as he was wearing that star on the side of his helmet. That's just my personal, belief right there. So Hardman, Patrick, Brown, you're not really dropping any of these guys, but you can definitely use them for trade bait. Evan Ingram. And I know you're probably looking at me going, okay, which list is he going to be on? Is he going to be on the I need to go get him or the I need to get rid of him? Because I'd be getting rid of him. Okay. Pump your brakes. Hold on. Calm down. He's going up against Philly. If you have a bye this week, you could possibly be losing Hayden Hurst. You could be losing Chris Herndon from the Jets. You could be losing Schultz from Dallas. You could be losing, like I am, Travis Kelce from KC. Regardless of what tight end you're losing, Evan Ingram has the talent and has the matchup to be really good this week. So if you need that 1 week plug-in at tight end, if you're missing somebody, if you're missing your tight end, or if he has a tougher matchup, go out, get Evan Ingram, at least for the week. He's going up against Philly. Okay. Daniel Jones has been playing a little better. So go ahead and take Evan Ingram, start him, roll him out there. The next guy, he might not be on your league, but somebody might have dropped him since Devontae Adams has come back. You guys know who I'm talking about, Robert Tonyan. They're going up against Jacksonville. Yes, it's going to be probably the Devontae Adams show or the Aaron Jones show, but Robert Tonyan, you've seen that, Rodgers does love his tight ends, so he does use them. He's got that rapport with Tonyan from when Devontae Adams was out. So go ahead, go pick him up if you need that help. Guys, one guy that you can definitely drop is Tyler Higbee. And I know you're thinking, well, wait a minute, whoa. Higbee was awesome last year. He's been really good. Yeah, he's only good when Gerald Everett is out. Okay. Last year, those last 5 weeks, I know because the wife had him, and that's what helped lead her to the championship. When he was good, Everett was out. When Everett comes back, his production goes down. You need to be aware of this because this is the environment that I'm talking about, okay? The environment around him changed. His production changed. So you need to make a change. Drop him. Let somebody else worry about him. Somebody else try to shoot their shot with him and take that risk and fill that roster spot, and I'll leave it open for you, Okay. Jonnu Smith. I know, but they're not using him. They're not using Jonnu in the right way. So let's just take a look real quick at Jonnu Smith, at his production. If I can spell right today. And I know it might seem like I'm picking on Charles's team, but I'm really not. So, did we get some really good usage out of Jonnu? Of course. 13, 24, 11, bye week, 21. And then the bottom fell out. 2, 1, 4, 11.2 against the Chicago team. The only reason that this 11-point performance happened is because this touchdown happened. That's it. Okay. He had not scored a touchdown since week 5. Okay. Then rest of season, he gets Indy, Baltimore, Indy again, Cleveland, Jacksonville might be okay, Detroit's okay, and then Green Bay. Now, Green Bay has a good pass defense, but you can run on them. So what do you think is going to happen game script wise when this happens? That's right. It's going to turn into the Derrick Henry show against Green Bay. Okay. Again, this is the environment that has changed around Jonnu Smith. He's still got the name. He's still got the potential. But if you're smart enough and you look ahead and you do something that your league mates are not doing in looking ahead, then you can stay one step ahead. Remember, here at the Academy, we talk environmental roster management, being aware of your surroundings, and then review and adjust accordingly. Okay. We want to be playing chess, not checkers. Okay. You need to be thinking 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of your opponents. So when you see trades go down in your league, I did this week, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get T. Higgins away from Charles. But Charles let him go to Mr. Nick. I knew that I could get him out of Nick. So I went to Nick, I made the trade, and I got T. Higgins. So let's go ahead and take a look real quick at the final of week 9 for the Fantasy Football Academy. Let's go to the box score. Ooh, excuse me. So if we look at this, here we go. If we look at this, we see that my wide receiver lineup is Tyler Lockett, Michael Thomas, Terry McLaurin, and on my bench, T. Higgins. Not too shabby. Oh, I'm sorry. And Robert Woods. So I went from having 8 running backs to now having 5 prolific wide receivers. What can I do with that in a PPR league? Are you kidding? I can package somebody and get a running back like that. Okay. So, guys, I want you to think ahead. I want you to remember your buys this week. Your buys: Kansas City, Atlanta, Dallas, and the Jets. KC, Atlanta, Dallas, and the Jets. Remember your stash. I'm going to give you 4 stashes. Jared Goff, stash him. Gaskin, running back from Miami. He's on IR. If you go to the owner right now, you could probably get him real low, but when he comes back, he's going to be good. Zacchaeus, wide receiver for Atlanta. Go out, get him, stash him. He had an absolutely phenomenal week this week. You can stash him on your bench and ride him into the playoffs. And it could be insurance if Ridley goes down, which is dealing with a hamstring, and Julio Jones goes out. He automatically becomes wide receiver 1, and you've got him for a song on your lineup. Then Zach Ertz, I know, but tight ends are hard to come by. Still has the talent, and Carson Wentz is getting better. So, weak division, good quarterback, strong tight end, good rapport. Stash him on your bench if you got the spot. Okay, guys? So, I hope that helps you guys out a little bit. For Fantasy Football Academy 2020, I've been the Dean. You guys have been awesome. Remember, stay tuned, and you can reign supreme over your fantasy league. That's what I'm here for, you guys. I'm here for you. Down at the bottom, subscribe, like, and share for me, all right? Till next time, take care. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Fantasy Football Academy 2020.